I got this all set up, and oh gosh, now I'm working without a stand for now. I'm about to get a stand soon, but I got this all set up, and like right outside, uh, in like the actual air conditioned room, and it was all actually looking good. Oh, what the hell? It's giving me PTSD. But it was all actually looking good, and then I noticed there's an echo, and there's no echo in here, so I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna like die in this room of just like no air conditioning, or like, bro, you have this like fucking like haunted ass hallway right behind me. It's just like a demon could just like actually just like rear naked choke me and just like take me out. Which like, I was actually talking about that with my friends the other day. I think my house is haunted. I've had there's been a lot of spiritual activity in the house I'm at right now, whether it's good or bad. I got saved by Jesus Christ in the room right next to me, but then in the other room and downstairs in my bedroom, I got just haunted by a demon, by like a fucking skinwalker. And then I don't know, just like weird ass noises at night, and then just black cats just like coming out of nowhere at night, and then like all the windows are open, and so like if it's at night and then like the lights are on, someone could just be staring at you and you just have no idea. It's just a creepy house overall. And people always say the same thing. It's like I go to other people's houses and I'm like, I don't know, it just doesn't. I mean, obviously it's weird because it's like my house is home, right? So it feels like home. But at the same time, like, I go to other people's houses and there's just not as much spiritual energy. But I don't know. I think it's because, like, my mom, she's like a little, not like loopy, but just like a little bit abstract. And I think it's just because, like, she accidentally just bought like a cursed item. Cause like our house is just filled with a bunch of just like random statues and just like collectibles and items, and not like nerdy items, just like what's the word, antique items, just shit like that. It's just like, no, I'm just like, oh my gosh, the house is haunted. And I don't know, and this was a story I was telling my friends the other day, but when I was young, at our old house, and this is why I low-key think it's like actually more of a cursed object more than actually like what's it called, more than like a house thing, because what are the chances you move into like two houses that are haunted? Anyway, the old house though that I used to live at when I was really young, probably like growing up, like ages 0 to what, like 10 or something like that. No, probably like ages 0 to like 8. My mom got the house exercised because when I was young, I would say shit like, I don't even remember saying this, but like I would say stuff like, the dark, like the black man, not the black man, but like the dark man is like has been telling me to hurt myself and stuff like that. Not like a literal black man, but like a shadow man or whatever. And it's honestly not good to say this stuff now that I'm in the attic, because it's like I said, it's like that fucking demon behind me. Not actually. I don't want to manifest something. I don't believe in manifestation. I mean, to a certain extent. It's like you're feeding your fear almost, where it's like you'll say something. It's like when you don't want to have a bad dream, when like you've been discussing like scary things or just like creepy or disturbing things, and then you start thinking about those things more, and then it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm about to go to bed. I just watched like this horrifying movie and I don't want to have a nightmare, but it's like you're gonna have a nightmare because you've just like been thinking about it and you've just been putting it out. In other news, my car is infested with ants, and I had to wake up at 5:30 this morning, and I just haven't had time. I mean, I could technically use this time to like go clean out like my ant infested car, but it's just like it's just like whatever, bro. I'm so tired. It's like you're sitting in 5 o'clock traffic, and it's like I just like look on the floor and like in the passenger seat and all that shit, and it's just covered in ants, and they're just like crawling around. I'm like, I hope they just haven't taken over my car at this point, cause it's like, oh, because it's just like this isn't the first time. This is actually the second day in a row. The first day I went straight. It was a Sunday, and after church I went straight to the car wash to just like suck up all the ants, and I got them all sucked up, but then I just parked in the same place, and it's like it's boiling hot because I'm in Texas, and it's it's just like the summer, June in Texas, and it's boiling hot. And so I just like crack my window like a tiny bit. I crack my window a tiny bit, and I guess they just all get in through there because this like it was 5:30 and it wasn't even light out yet. But I get in my car, and then I just started thinking to myself, I'm like, I cracked my window last night. I hope there's not ants in here. And so I turn on my light. I just like look down on the floor, and it's just covered in ants. I'm just like, oh, like what the hell? I don't know. Gosh. So that's just like, and it's like, I don't know. At first I was like really like tweaking out, because it's just like, it's not like the same as having a bee or a wasp in your car, but it's like a fifth of the feeling, where it's just like, well, I don't want like these ants to just like eat me alive and just like swarm all over me. It's like it's genuinely it's not a good feeling to have like a tiny thing just start crawling all over you. And that's just like kind of what I've been worrying about in the car. But now like I'm just like sitting there, I'm just like, the ants are in their own space and I'm in my space. And at this point I'm just like, you know what, maybe I should just have like just put in like some dirt mounds in my car and just like let them be. I can just like have a biosphere in my car, and just like let them roam, like, cause just who cares. And I think I'm like, if like I was a hippie or something like that, or like I work for like PETA, then they'd just be like, like, just like let the ants out of the car, or like live and let live. And I'm just like, oh no, it's honestly getting to that point. If I wake up tomorrow in the morning and ants are still in my car, honestly, I really tried to, gosh, now I look at like everything, I feel like I see an ant. But I really just what's it called? I tried to kill them by, I parked my car today at work like in the direct center where the sunlight would just hit my car, and I made sure I didn't put a window shade up or anything. I'm just like, you know what? I hope these ants just boil alive and they just die. And unlucky me, it wasn't even that hot of a day. I mean, it was so freaking hot. It was practically an oven in my car, but I just opened up the door and it's just infested with ants still. I'm just like, okay, whatever. And it's like you're just in 5 o'clock traffic, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go to a car wash. I just want to go home, and just like, oh my gosh. Which, that's another thing, bro. It's like, oh, I wish I just like, honestly, maybe I should just do that, because like right when I get in my car, I just start yapping, bro. I just start yapping, and I'm like, damn, I wish I could record this, because it's just like, it's not like it's like anything different from this. It's just like, the first thoughts on your mind are just like, I won't say better thoughts. It's just like, I just wish I could have all of it, I just wish I could have it all. Because it's like, the more I do this, it's like, the more I really like it. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm like stupid for this, or it's just like, if like, I'm like, maybe I have a talent of just yapping, and not even yapping to anybody, but just like yapping to myself, maybe that's a talent in itself, but I feel like everyone does that, and I'm just recording it. I don't know, who cares? But what I was thinking about in the car today, I don't know, it was honestly some incel thoughts, where it was like, I was like, my teacher told me in 8th grade that men don't have any worth until they turn 18. And in the time, that's like rage bait for like a 14-year-old kid, where it's just like, what the hell? Like, you just say like, I'm just worthless right now. But like, the sad part is, it's like, you think about that and you're just like, damn. I look back on that, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty right. Like, she kind of hit that was a dart for her at the time. Because it's honestly true. It's honestly true. It's just like, men really don't have any worth until they turn 18. And even then, the hard part is, the sad thing is that even then, it's still, they don't have any worth. And this is the point where it's like, I've heard this before, where it's like, girls have an inherent worth because, obviously they can make kids and like they have a womb, but it's also deeper than that. It's like, you even look at the Bible, and in Genesis it talks about where the angels came down and slept with the woman because they found them appealing. It's like, girls are interesting because it's so fascinating, where it's like, it seems like in the ordered structure of things, women are human women are appealing to everyone, like even angels and demons, which is like, it's weird to think about, but the Lord just gave them their inherent value of that, and that's interesting. But for man, which like, this is a known thing, where it's like, a man has never had inherent worth from the world, where it's like, the world gives inherent worth to woman. The world gives inherent worth to a healthy woman, but to a man, obviously you have to earn that, It's like, and it's like, so like, say you turn 18, it's like, okay, I'm 18 now, but now it's getting to the point where like, not even 18-year-olds have any worth, because, okay, you're classified as a quote-unquote legal age of being a man, but now in this generation, it's like, what? Okay, this number's just pulled out of my ass, but it's like, so many 18-year-olds, at least in America, are still living with their parents, or then they go straight to college, which, that's, if you were a college-age male, I still wouldn't say you have any worth, unless you're actually like, unless you have a talent. And the hard part is too, it's like, you think it's like, okay, well, you don't have any worth unless you have a talent or a skill. But then it's such a tragedy, you would think, if a man or a kid, like say he was 16 or 15 or something like that, died before, and died, and he had so much potential. He had so much potential to be great, he had the skill and whatever it was, and he really could have been something. But it doesn't even matter, because, it only matters if you put that skill into practice. If you actually have realized potential, it's like, it's intriguing for a man to have a talented potential that hasn't been realized yet, and like, people love hearing those stories of just like, oh, here's a guy who really had talent, and then he really saw everything through, and he made it, and it's like, and then after he makes it, the world loves him, and then boom, it's like, it's then he has his worth, he's earned his keep. But if you die, if a boy, I would more say, if a boy dies before that talent or potential goes unrealized, then it's really sad, and the only people, well, it's most sad for the parents, because, as a kid, as a boy, as a baby boy, all of your worth comes from your parents, until you are of age. And then once you're of age, then you have to stop relying off your parents, and then you are by yourself. And then, if you haven't moved on from that point, then you're a failure. You're just a failure. and some people are late bloomers, some people are whatever, but it's just like if you go before that point, then it's just like you were born worthless and then you die worthless. It's a little bit of a dark subject, but it's honestly, it really is the truth. It's sad, but it's the truth. Where for girls, and this is where I didn't want to sound like an incel, because it's like, what guy doesn't love a girl? You know what I'm saying? But like for girls, it's like a man, for example. It's weird because you could devote all your time. It's really where you care about getting your worth from, and I feel like you honestly feel like, I don't know if I even agree with this, but this is just a thought that just came to me. And it's like, you feel like you're worthless until you have someone depending on you. My original thought was you feel like you're worthless until you have a girl depending on you, but it makes more sense for just anyone depending on you, right? And so, and that's when, I think I said this in a previous video where it's like, a teacher told me that you aren't a man until you are providing for someone, where unless you have people depending on you. So maybe that's it. It's like you're worthless until and like if you die before you have anyone depending on you, then you're born worthless and then you die worthless. And the thing is for guys too is, like, girls are not as easily as replaceable for guys, because it's like, obviously we know it's where it's like you could, what's it called, you could start, what was it, it's like, I heard the statistic where it's like, all it takes to start a civilization or whatever, or like a tribe or community or whatever, or like a generation is like 5 women and then like 60 guys. Which it's like, not getting into the details of that, but it's like, it does, like, where it's like a womb, you know what I'm saying, that is easily, or not easily, that is like a one of one, you, like, a girl has the ability to create life in her womb, and that's it, but, and the thing is, it's like, you can only create one life there, and she has all that power, right? But then the guy is so easily replaceable, like any guy can make a kid, but then it's the girl that is birthing the child that is really doing all the work. She's carrying the child, she's birthing the child, she's giving her life force for the child, so she's doing all of the work. And honestly, that's like, and that's where girls get all their worth from. It's just like, because they make, like, what human being on earth didn't have a mom? You think of Adam, but even the second Adam had a mom. You know what I'm saying? Even Jesus Christ had a mom. Everyone has a mom. It's also interesting too, because it's just like, you could just be a guy, and say you feel like you're worthless, right? And then hold on, one second. Say you feel like you're worthless, right? And then you could try and get gigantic at the gym. You could put on big muscles, you could do this, you could be as attractive as you want, but even then, unless you are providing something, then you're worthless. You just have no inherent worth at all. And it's like, for a guy, well, not only, he has to be, first of all, healthy, he has to make enough money to provide, then have people depend on him. He has to be emotionally stable enough for people to depend on him. He has to be, he has to be a good enough of a father. He has to have wisdom. He has to have, he has to perform well in his main areas of what he does, whether it's, I mean, this could be a lot of things, whether it's providing, we're talking about what you're providing. So providing whether money, providing emotional support, mental support. You have to lead your family spiritually. You have to provide, I mean, if you want a good marriage, um, a good sex life for your wife. You have to provide everything, right? And it's like, you hear all this stuff of like, um, well, I don't know if you hear all this stuff, but it's like you hear all this stuff where it's like, oh my gosh, the least favorite, the least or the worst thing a girl can do is just like get in the bed and then just starfish. It's like, but it's like, honestly, it doesn't even matter, because to a guy in this day and age, it's like, if you're a guy and then like you get a chance to get in girl with a bed or get in bed with a girl, she just starfishes. It's not, unless you are a couple things, unless you're extremely prideful, unless you are in the position where you have earned your worth, say like you're a celebrity, or yeah, I mean, honestly, that's all I can think of, like a super rich, good looking guy who doesn't even, like, who can get thousands of girls, which it's like, that's very few men. But unless like you're that, then you're just gonna, you're not going to take that opportunity for granted, you know. Keep in mind, I only believe in sex in the boundaries of marriage. But yeah. But it's like a girl, and the thing is, it's the difficulties of being a girl is, it's hard because I don't want to come off as like, again, like I said, like an incel where it's like, oh, it's so easy to be a girl and blah 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 blah. But it's like, in my mind, if I was a girl, first of all, a lot of the girls that I've talked to, which I don't know, this is just my community, the people who I've surrounded myself with in life, but they say it's like, yeah, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. I just want to stay-at-home mom, raise my kids, which, of course, like being a mother is hard work. It's very hard work. But okay, let's say before we get to being a mother, because it's not like, you know, like men start from zero, girls start with their inherent worth, and then, moms are very important. Moms take the cake, right? Because like they did everything and they're still raising their kid. A mom, everyone loves a mom, right? But then like a father, like he started off as a boy, and then he built himself up to be a father. You know. But for girls, it's like, well, if I was a girl, all I would really, say I was an average girl, an average looking girl, not like ugly, not super pretty, but just like an average girl. And so all I would really have to do is a couple of things. First of all, I would just have to promote my mental health, right? To be like, you don't want to be broken in the sense of like, oh, well, that girl's batshit crazy, or like, she's struggling with a really bad mental disorder or something like that. And, even if you are struggling with a pretty bad mental disorder, some guys will still even take that. And not even take that as in like, oh, well, I guess I'll take it. No, they'll take it with like, they'll love you, like no matter what. They'll deal with it. And not even I mean, not even dealing with it in a way where it's like they have to, but in a way where it's like they love you so much where they just don't care. So that's honestly optional. Mental health is optional at this point for girls. But all you would really have to promote is your physical health. If I was a girl, I would simply, just be active. Be active. Be active and eat healthy. Promote your all your overall health, whether it's your gut health, your oral health, your skin, your just eating good food in general. You are what you eat. Um, that's really all it takes. It's really all it takes, because then it's like it's like you're upkeeping your worth. You were born with as a inherently valuable being, and it's like you're born up here, and so it's like really you just have to maintain that. And if you maintain that, and it's like, and then like in a sense it's like you're doing all these things that are good for you, and it's like it's not like it's a struggle, because it's like, you go to the gym, you get endorphins, you eat physically well, and you're just in good shape, and like you can feel good about yourself. All these things are just good things that you can feel about yourself. And so it's not even that it's not hard to be in good shape. Of course, like I'm not really taking account in like the economy, and just like and like food prices, and just like, oh, gym membership, this and that. You need all that to be healthy nowadays, but you don't need that much. I mean, say if you're a girl, you don't need to be lifting weights. I mean, if anything, just like running, or just like doing a physical activity, Pilates, but that costs money. But that's really all you need. Then say if you have that, and even if you're shy, but you're just like promoting that value, you're upkeeping your worth, you're gonna get a guy. You are going to get a guy. I mean, I guarantee that. Of course, it's like you have to put yourself in the position of like you just have to put yourself out there, right? But I mean, if you're doing that and then putting yourself out on the market, not in that sense, but just in the sense of just like, you're just like you're looking, or you're trying, or doing whatever, and I mean, honestly, that's the best way to put it. You're putting yourself out on the market, then you're going to get a guy. 100%. That's just how it is. But it's hard nowadays though, because it's like, for a guy, it's like, say he focused on putting himself out there, and then he focused on his health. Well, you can't just do that. I mean, if you just wanted to have sex with a bunch of girls and just like didn't care at all, I mean, you're gonna find that. You're gonna find that. But if you actually want value in your life, then you have to do all those things, and then make enough money, and then be able to provide for your wife in all the ways that I previously said. It's a lot. But again, I don't want to sound like an incel, because that's just like and it's no hate on women. It's just kind of like how things are. It's like I don't have any and I don't even necessarily, it's hard to talk about this, because I try to be positive in a lot of ways, where it's like I don't want to say this and then be like, oh, my life is so hard, life's so unfair, blah blah blah. But it's not. It's just how things are, and you have to be okay with it. Otherwise, you're going to become bitter, angry, and just sad. And so you just have to be okay with it. And it's just like, whatever. If anything, the best way to hold that, to live with this, is by, being like, I love spending time with the Lord. I love growing my relationship with the Lord. I love being healthy. I love promoting my physical health. I love eating well. I like providing for people and helping people and making money and people depending on me. You just have to if you don't like those things, you have to convince yourself that you like those things, and then you just have to love it. You have to learn to love these things. And another thing too is like, even if you do all that, Well, first of all, then you have to put yourself out on the market as a guy. And it's hard too because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of us on the market, you know? There's a lot of guys doing the same thing that are capable of being a father. And at that point, it's just luck. It just comes down to luck, you know? At the end of the day, it all comes down to the Lord's plan for your life, you know? All just comes down to that. You know, even if you have it all, unless you have so much, it's weird. It's like there's a lot of balanced people on the market. There's a lot of balanced people on the market, and it seems like the people who have it all and the people we look up to are the people where, you know, they have everything is average, but then one thing in their life is just extraordinarily better than everyone else, you know? And the thing that they're extraordinarily better at, well, either it's money in itself where they're way richer than everyone else, or it's something where they're so good at it where they can make more money than everybody else, you know, and they're already making more money. And that's just kind of how it is. Oh my gosh. I hope I'm not addicted to vaping or nicotine. Hope I'm not. I don't vape at work, but then when I come home and I don't know, maybe it's just me like geeking out in this sauna that I'm in right now. Like, it's actually boiling hot in here. I was just debating on whether I should just like do this with my shirt off, but I'm like, well, can't be a hypocrite, you know. I was talking about like OnlyFans, and that's just like, you know, you start doing videos with your shirt off, next thing you know, you're just having like sex on camera with like whoever. Little things add up. It's a scary world, bro. It's a scary world. That's another thing. It's scary how little things add up. And the scariest part of it all is that most of the little things that add up are the things that you are completely unaware about. You know? Like, there will be, because I said this previously, where it's like, where you just, it's hard for guys to multitask, right? I mean, in general, it's hard to multitask in general, right? But what's it called? But the thing is that it takes a lot of mental energy to be intentional and completely aware of one thing, you know, just one thing. You know, say it's like, you know, I really want to get better in social environments and everything like that. So it's just like, you know, then you're aware of the little things, like the things that you used to be unaware about, where it's like, oh, you know, I should stutter less, you know, I should really think about what I'm saying, I should, you know, look at these people who are good with people and then like copy their mannerisms, and like, it's just like little things. But it's hard to do that with everything, right? It's just hard to do that with everything. Ooh. And so it's just like, then the rest of the things that if you're not intentional about them, or if you don't even know that they're going on, then little things add up, bro. Good or bad. And so if you just have a bunch of like bad little mannerisms that add up, then it's just like you're just putting yourself in a worse place. And it's easy to talk about bad mannerisms because it's hard to think of a scenario where it's like, well, I was unaware of all this good stuff that I was doing, that it actually multiplied into me being better at this one thing that I didn't even know I was really good at. I mean, that's a rare scenario. That is a rare scenario. I don't know. you just gotta, it's hard to know what you should be intentional about, you know? I mean, there's a couple givens, right? It's like, okay, I know I need to be intentional about my relationship with the Lord. I know that I need to be intentional, but it's also hard because of passions, right? You can't, I mean, unless your passion is being intentional with everything, which, I mean, that's a hard thing to do in itself, because it's like that's going to take a lot of mental energy, you know, almost to a point of exhaustion, I feel like, because it's like if you are trying to be aware of everything, then it's like you're going to have no rest time. But maybe that's a whole nother thing where it's like we just crave comfort. We just crave comfort. But it's like, you know, intentional with every, I mean, my thought process is like be intentional with your relationship for the Lord. That comes number one. Be intentional with what you eat, and then be intentional with how you work out. Then be intentional, and then the whole other thing, I mean, that's just on my mind. The whole other thing that I'm not even focusing on is just like, oh, be intentional with people, you know, learn people's mannerisms, and just like take those and like you can use those to compound, and then just like you can get really social and blah blah blah. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. But of course, it's like everyone has different passions where they want to be intentional with. Oh my gosh, I am sweating my off. Sweating my fill in the blank off. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Hard to think. I feel like I need a cup of water because it's just like all the water's just leaking out of me through my pores. Jeez Louise. Wait 1 second. I'm gonna go get some water.